Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we are going to challenge a very specific and honestly a very common assumption.
Oh, which one is that?
It's the idea that in the world of these massive industrial projects, procurement is just a corporate word for, shopping.
Right. You need a pump, you go buy a pump, add to cart.
Exactly. It sounds so simple.
If only. I mean, if you take that shopping cart attitude into a billion-dollar project, you are going to bankrupt the company before you even pour the first yard of concrete.
That is exactly the vibe I got from our source material today. We're looking at a document labeled E2.4 Employer Requirement, Procurement and Subcontracting.
Mm-hmm.
And requirement feels like a very polite word here. This thing reads more like a rigid set of laws.
It is. It's basically a constitution for the project. It's the rule book that the employer, the project owner, hands to the contractor.
And it basically says, here's how you're going to spend my money.
And here's exactly how I'm going to watch you do it.
Yeah. And the scope is just huge. I think that's the first thing that hits you. You assume it's just signing a purchase order and waiting for a truck to show up.
But it's not. This document says the contractor owns the entire life cycle.
The entire thing.
Right. It's not just the transaction. It's pre-qualification, checking if a vendor is even competent before you talk price. It's expediting, which is a whole discipline in itself.
We have to get to that later.
Oh, yeah. Then there's inspection, testing, packing, transport customs, all the way to getting it to the site storage area.
There's a line in the intro I had to read twice. It says, for the purpose of this document, the term supplier is used. But then it adds that in the context of the main contract, a supplier is also a subcontractor. Why do that?
Ah, that's a legal hook. It's very clever. It stops the contractor from playing games with definitions.
How so?
They can't say, oh, the rules for buying a valve are different from the rules for hiring a paving crew. By merging those definitions, the employer is saying the level of scrutiny is identical.
So whether you're supplying a physical thing or human labor, you're all part of the same supply chain.
Exactly. And the contractor is on the hook for all of it. So if the valve supplier messes up, the contractor can't just shrug and say,
talk to them, not me.
Right. There is no hiding place.
Okay, let's get into the machinery of this, because the document starts with what I'm calling the brain of the operation.
Good name for it.
Theme 1, the Integrated Plant and Materials Management System. Now, when I see management system, I just assume it's like a bunch of Excel sheets.
And that's exactly what this document explicitly forbids. It demands automation. And that keyword you used, integrated, is critical.
Why?
Because on bad projects, engineering has one database, procurement has another, and construction has a third.
And they don't talk to each other.
Never. So engineering changes a pump spec, but procurement already ordered the old one because they didn't get the memo. This document requires one system that tracks an item from the moment an engineer identifies the need for it.
All the way to the end.
All the way until that item is released for installation at the site.
It says the system must extend to the contractors, subcontractors, and suppliers' premises. That sounds incredibly intrusive.
It is. It's total surveillance, but it's necessary surveillance. The employer wants a window into the supply chain. They want to log in and see that a valve is, right now, 40% complete on a workbench in Germany.
It's about killing surprises before they happen.
Precisely. If you don't have that visibility, you're flying blind. And this system links directly to the procurement plan. Did you see the list of procedures they demand for that?
I did. It's exhausting. It's not a buying plan. It's criticality rating, spare parts procurement, warranty control, preservation.
They're trying to legislate against chaos. In this world, if you don't have a written procedure for it, you're not allowed to do it. It forces you to think about spare parts before you've even bought the main part.
Speaking of procedures, let's talk about the actual ordering requisitioning. There's a clause here that I found. Well, let's just call it cynically pragmatic.
I think I know which one you mean.
The one about quantities. It says the contractor must order sufficient surplus to cater for shortage, loss, pilferage, and changes. Pilferage. They are literally building theft into the procurement model.
It's the reality of construction. Things walk away. Copper wire is famous for it. But it's not just theft, it's clumsiness. Things get dropped in the mud, run over by a truck.
So the employer is saying, we know you're going to lose stuff. Don't come crying to us with a delay claim because you're 2 bolts short.
That's it, exactly. It's a risk transfer. If you run out of cable, that's your fault. for not forecasting the pilferage.
Okay, and when they're deciding who to buy from, it's not just the price tag. The document mentions total life cycle costs.
This is a huge point of friction on projects. The
Okay.
contractor wants the lowest upfront price, the CapEx, to protect their margin.
But the employer has to run the plant for 20 years. They care about the OpEx, the operating cost.
Right, so a cheap pump that burns a ton of electricity is actually a terrible deal for the employer, even if it saves the contractor money today.
So this document allows the employer's rep, the engineer, to say, no, buy the more expensive German pump because it uses less power.
Yes, it forces the contractor to think like an owner, not just a builder.
And once that vendor is picked, the inspection rights are intense.
No.
The engineer demands access to the supplier's premises during manufacturing.
You have to. It's about catching problems at the source.
Yeah.
Imagine a massive pressure vessel arrives on site, and you realize the welding is defective. What do?
You're stuck. You can't exactly mail it back.
You are dead in the water. The whole project can grind to a halt, so you have to catch that mistake at the factory before the item even gets on a boat.
Which leads us perfectly into criticality, because you can't inspect every single box of screws with that kind of intensity.
No, you drown in paperwork.
Yeah.
So the document demands a criticality rating with at least 4 levels.
Level 1 being the really important stuff.
Yes, your main turbine, a custom-built reactor. If that's late or broken, the project can't finish. Level 4 might be, office supplies.
And the rating determines the effort.
Exactly. High criticality means high surveillance. You send inspectors, you have weekly calls. Low criticality, you just check that the box arrived.
We actually have a table in the source material that shows why this is so important. PO001 pumps. It looks like a boring spreadsheet at first, but it tells a kind of horror story.
It's a classic example of the cascading delay.
Okay, let's walk through it. There's a row labeled delta days, the difference between the planned date and the actual date.
Look at the very first step, requisition approved.
Right. The plan was January 5th, the actual approval.
Yeah.
January 12th. So, okay, we're 7 days late. And a multi-year project, that feels like nothing.
You'd think, oh, we'll make that up later.
But you don't.
Look at the next column, pre-qualification.
Still 7 days late.
RFP issue.
7 days late.
It never recovers. That's the lesson here. That initial 1-week slip, maybe someone was on vacation, it just pushed the entire schedule to the right. The team never caught up.
And it goes all the way to the end. Required at site was supposed to be June 29th. Now it's July 6th.
And that's dangerous. Maybe the heavy lift crane was booked for the 29th. Now it's sitting idle, costing you tens of thousands of dollars a day, all because of a signature back in January.
Wow.
And that is why the section on expediting is so aggressive.
I wanted to ask about that. To me, expediting sounds like paying for faster shipping.
Oh, no. In this world, expediting is a profession. You have dedicated expediters whose job it is to, harass the supply chain.
Harass.
Professionally harass. They're on the phone with the factory manager. Do you have the raw steel? Show me the receipt. Is the casting mold ready? Send me a photo. They're the ones trying to claw back that 7-day delay.
The document mentions taking extraordinary measures.
That's the break glass in case of emergency clause. It means if that pump is going to miss the boat, you put it on a plane.
You'd air freight a pump. That must cost a fortune.
It can cost more than the pump itself. But if the delay penalty for the project is $1 million a day, $50,000 for an air charter is a bargain. And the contractor usually has to eat that cost.
Okay, let's shift to logistics. The document requires route surveys and permits for any special or extra large cargoes.
Yeah, you can't just drive a piece of equipment that's 3 lanes wide down the highway.
Check out bridges.
Bridges, power lines, traffic lights. A route survey means you drive the whole path beforehand. You measure every overpass. You might have to pay the city to temporarily remove streetlights just to get through at 3 a.m.
And the contractor has to plan all of that.
All of it. The permits, the police escorts, the whole puzzle.
Then there's the bureaucracy, customs and VAT. It feels dry, but I get the sense it's dangerous.
It's a silent killer of schedules. If you mess up the paperwork, your $1 million turbine sits in a customs warehouse for 6 weeks.
And the project stops.
The document makes it clear the contractor has to handle all of it. They want the goods duties paid and cleared.
I want to look at another visual, the subcontracting matrix. It really helped me see the difference between buying stuff and buying work.
It's a great visual. Look at item 1, soil investigation.
Okay, the only boxes checked are design and site services. So you're not buying a product, you're buying a report.
Correct. Now compare that to, say, item 11, piping.
Whoa, Piping has X's everywhere. Design, supply materials, prefabrication, installation, erection, commissioning.
See the complexity. You're not just buying pipes. You're hiring a company to design the system, buy the metal, weld it, truck it, bolt it together, and test it. The management overhead for that is insane.
Which brings us to subcontracting and market reality. The document says the contractor has to consider the overall market situation in the Netherlands and Europe.
I love that detail. It's so grounding. It forces the contractor to look at the real world. Is there a labor shortage? Is there a strike at the Port of Rotterdam? You can't just pretend there's an infinite supply of welders.
You have to plan for that.
You have to. And you have to plan for concurrent construction work at the site.
The too many cooks in the kitchen problem.
Exactly. You can't have the civil team, the mechanical team, and the painters all trying to work in the same square meter. It's unsafe and unproductive. The contractor has to choreograph the whole dance.
And the process for hiring a subcontractor mirrors the process for buying a thing.
It's all about consistency. Pre-qualify, bid, evaluate, award, manage. Same rigorous process.
Let's talk about quality. Theme sucks, fit for purpose. The document is relentless about testing before shipping.
It all comes back to leverage. It says the goods must be properly tested and without defects prior leaving the supplier's premises.
Why is prior to leaving so critical?
Because once the check is cashed and that truck leaves the factory, your leverage drops to almost zero. Try getting a vendor to fix a rattle on a machine that's now on a different continent.
Good luck.
But making them fix it before you sign the shipping papers, that's easy. You just don't sign.
And they can't just pick the cheapest vendor, right? There's a technical evaluation.
Yes, and the engineer has to approve it before the order is placed. It prevents the race to the bottom. The engineer can look at a cheap vendor and say, nope, their failure rate is too high, denied, use the other one.
And then the paperwork. The final deliverables include O&M manuals, but there was one detail that was so specific, a list of chemicals and lubricants for first fill.
Ah, yes, the first fill trap.
What's that?
You buy a massive compressor. It arrives, you bolt it down, wire it up, the CEO is there for the ribbon cutting, you press start, and nothing happens.
Why?
Because the machine is empty. It needs 500 liters of a very specific synthetic oil that takes 3 weeks to order.
The whole project is held up by a barrel of oil.
Exactly. The document forces you to identify that needs months in advance so the oil is sitting there ready to go. The project isn't done when it's built, it's done when it works.
So when you pull back and look at this whole document, E2.4, what's the big picture?
The big picture is defense. This document is a shield for the employer. By defining every step, by demanding automation and reports, the employer is systematically transferring all the risk logistics, taxes, delays, quality onto the contractor.
It's like they're saying, I am paying you a lot of money to worry about this so that I don't have to.
That is the essence of it. But it's also about visibility. The employer knows problems will happen. Ships sink. Factories have fires.
But they don't want to be the last to know.
They cannot be the last to know. By demanding these systems, they ensure they are never surprised. They want to know about that 7-day pump delay in January, not in July.
Because in January, you can still do something about it. In July, you're just counting your losses.
Correct.
It's a fascinating look at the machinery behind the machinery. But I want to leave you with a thought. Based on that Delta Days chart we talked about,
Go on.
we have this document. It's incredibly strict. It demands automation. It demands dedicated expediters. And yet, in the very data we have from the source, that pump was still late. The delay started on day 1, and it was never recovered.
That's a very sharp observation.
So my question for you listening is this. Is the perfect procurement system actually a myth? I mean, can we ever truly legislate away the friction of the real world? Or is a document like this just a way to make us feel like we're in control of a chaos that is fundamentally uncontrollable?
That is the eternal question of project management, isn't it?
Something to chew on next time you're stuck in traffic behind a wide load truck. Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you on the next one.
If you're interested in the templates, please visit our shop. The link is in the description.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and see next time.